Everybody, welcome back to the channel. So the markets have made new high, the SPY specifically, and right now is struggling to break through 7,000. In today's video, we're going to discuss what to expect for the next 5 business days. We're also going to be looking at some of the data, some of the expectations that are coming out next week, and I'm going to be sharing with y'all some stocks that may make some big moves that we could capitalize off of. All right, so let's get started right off the bat. We got the SPY futures, and last week we hit 7,017. Right now the futures are currently open and we're in the red. We're struggling just a little bit. Is this the beginning of a massive drop down? Should you be worried? Are the other indices going to follow through with this potential drop? And is Bitcoin also going to drop? Now, I'm not too sure about that. It's a little too soon to say. But what I can tell you is this. I see an ascending triangle on here, but it is a bit narrow, especially on the SPY. All right, the structure is right there. I liked it on Friday, but I didn't trust it enough to take a position over the weekend. I thought it was a little bit sus. And there's something else that I just want to wait for my opportunity for a day trade on. So I decided to just sit on the sidelines into the weekend. And it looks like it was the right decision for me not to go long on anything. It is narrow. And with this being narrow, typically, there's a drop. we might see a drop back down to 6,900. That's my first thought. Like right when I see this entire thing, it's too narrow. The breakout is too soon. There's no volume, and we're showing signs of red. And the Nasdaq is looking even worse. Okay. Now, one thing to consider. We're gonna move on to QQQ, and QQQ has a gap that I want the market to take care of immediately. So there is a gap right here at 631.7. Right now we're about to open at 622, which is literally at the retest of this line right here. Could things turn around tomorrow? Maybe. Could we see something like that between Monday and Tuesday? That's a maybe. All right. But until we really break below and close below 620, this is still possible. This is still very, very possible. And y'all should consider that for next week. Okay. Now, there is the inflation report coming out. There you go. All right. So this is the inflation report. And the CPI number will be released on the 13th of January, which is on Tuesday morning. They're expecting it to stay at 2.7, just like the November CPI, as y'all can see right here. From the data itself, the data looked a bit sketch. So that 2.7, yes, it looked good, but if you really dive into every data point that they had in that report, there have been a lot of things that have been omitted in order to make this number what it is. At least that's what I thought when I looked at it. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on this one. Maybe it goes back down to 2.6. At least that's what the forecast says right here. But that's for another video. So we'll look back at it in another time. But for now, consider these possibilities for QQQ. Let's discuss one stock that is about to make a big move and that could offer a big opportunity for us tomorrow. That stock is Apple. Okay. And with Apple, I was looking at it in the middle of the week between Wednesday and Thursday. I did take a short position on there for this gap down between here and here for this simple reason: a descending triangle breakdown at the close right here, just to get rid of my position right there. The initial price target that I had on there was all the way down to 252, and it looks like, I mean, with the way the futures is looking right now, there is a big possibility that this first alert is gonna ring and that we could see a big drop down. Apple contracts are very cheap, which is nice. The gap right here between $60 and $59 got filled on Friday. Okay. And now the only gap that's left to the downside is the one right here between 255 and 252. Okay. So have your alerts on Apple like I have for that potential day trade in the morning. After hours right now is at 257, which is good. Again, we're looking for a day trade down. Okay, we might see a little bit of a pop in the morning between. Let's change this to the 5-minute. We might see a little bit of a pop between like 257 and 258, but the move that we should really look forward to is that one right there. It might just happen in one day, or it might stretch over 2 days, but because the futures are looking the way they are, this is what I'm expecting, and that's what I'm looking forward to tomorrow. So keep Apple on your watch list. Another reason why I like Apple is because of the 4-hour time frame. All right, we got the 4-hour time frame, which is moving in the opposite direction of QQQ and SPY. QQQ and SPY have been making new all-time highs, but Apple has been left behind. If you look at it on the 4-hour, there is this bearish triangle that broke down on the, this is the 5th, on Monday. Yeah, it broke down on Monday last week, and then had a massive fall on Tuesday, and then showed that bearish pennant on Wednesday, which I took advantage of for the move down on Thursday. Okay, but there's still a lot of room down. Okay, the trend for Apple is still bearish, and the fact that the futures is red could really reinforce a sell-off downwards. So keep Apple on watch. Now the next one that we gotta look at, the next stock that we're going to discuss, because it's been a while since I uploaded the video, is Tesla. And with Tesla went all the way up to $500. Okay, all the way up to $500, and then started to sell off at the end of the year last year. The trend on this one is still bearish. Will it climb back up to 475? I'm not completely sure. It is possible. I do want it to get taken care of before considering any move down towards 400. All right, because as long as these gaps are up here, it's very hard to determine, or I would say it's a bit difficult to have conviction in a potential sell-off if there is a structure that warrants a sell-off, right? So the sooner we take care of that, the better, the more clear things would be. Okay, and earnings for Tesla will be on the 28th, so we'll see how things play out in between that. But for now, keep Tesla on your radar. It's only down by like $2 after hours. Keep it on your watch list for potential day trade tomorrow. We'll see. Now, the next stock that we got to discuss in today's video is Palantir. All right, now with Palantir, this one made news in the 4th quarter of last year. Why? Because Dr. Burry took a massive short position on this one for valid reasons. At least when I look at it from just the technical standpoint, just the chart itself. I like the short idea. I think they released that news about him shorting in the beginning of November, somewhere around here, after their earnings report, which means that his average on a short position could have been around 190 before he released that he was short, and for the reasons why he was short. When you look at it on a bigger time scale, on the weekly chart, it's bearish. At least it turned bearish. All right, it turned bearish. The volume is diminishing from the highs of 500 million all the way down to the lows of 200 million. And the fact that the futures is red means that tomorrow, the next weekly candle could actually open up below 175 and look like this. So this outcome for next week very, very possible. If it doesn't happen next week, then it could happen the week after that, especially if we close by Friday, if we close under 175, all right? And if we zoom out even further, it's at support right now. And 165, the first month that get below 165 will trigger a lot of panic and a lot of people are going to sell. At least that's my opinion when I look at the chart. If you have different thoughts, let me know. But when I look at the chart and I acknowledge the fact that Dr. Burry shorted this thing, it wouldn't be too crazy to expect this thing to actually tank and to tank down here. If I was shorting this thing with a massive position, that's where I would want to cover. And I'm expecting that's where he would want to cover too. So yeah, keep Palantir on your radar. Keep it on your watches for a potential drop. And watch for intraday price action too, because that could give us clues on where to enter and where to exit. Have an alert right here at 173, just like what I'm doing. Okay. Now, the last stock that we're going to discuss in today's video is the other stock that is being shorted by Michael Burry, NVIDIA. All right, and NVIDIA has been struggling to break above 190. The trend on the daily is bearish. There are some gaps to fill below. There's two of them actually. At 181, right here. So have an alert below 174, which will most likely ring in the morning. Have an alert literally at 183, because once that gets taken out, this is gonna act like a magnet and then drag the price down. We could see a move down to 180, and that could provide a good return on put options for tomorrow. So keep NVIDIA along with Apple on your radar as well. The other gap to consider getting filled is the one at 174-ish. I'm not saying that it's going to get filled next week. It might, but I just don't know exactly how fast these are gonna get taken care of. I'm just happy that this thing is done trading sideways, and it decided to make a decision whether to the upside or to the downside. And from the looks of it, to me, it looks like it wants to fall. All right, so keep your eyes on the video as well. That's my very honest thoughts on all of these stocks, and that is the end of the video. Again, if you have questions or you just oppose my views, definitely let me know in the comment section of the video below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Reminder, I'm not your financial advisor. Right here, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not always right. Sometimes I'm wrong, and that's okay. All right, I'm just here to share my opinions, my thoughts on what I see, and if it helps you guys, then great. As always, don't forget to like and follow for more.